Christelle, thank you so much for coming back. I feel like you're a regular feature here at News
Thank
24.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, what we're going to talk about today is something that's almost frightening in a way, because in an age of social media, so many of us are sharing things online without realizing exactly what we're sharing. Why don't you introduce us to what we're going to talk about today?
Yes, and well, I think it's important to understand that you put your life out in the public arena. So whether you look at it from a security perspective by sharing sensitive information with anyone who wants to see it, to actually living a sort of truthful and honest life and making sure that once you've had a claim, the information you provide to the insurance company actually ties up with what you did. Remember that people can go onto your social media profiles and verify information.
Sure. Now let's start off with the first part
Yes.
of that, and that's that unfortunately lots of criminal activity can be started by what we put on our social networks. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, if you think about how we go about our lives, we say we're going to go overseas for 2 weeks. We tell people when we've been fortunate enough just to get married or engaged and there's a lot of extra gifts in the house. You've bought a new car, your child's going away to university, and you often put all of the detail out there as well. On our social media profiles, it will often contain personal information like our risk address, where we live, often telephone numbers. And that's very valuable information for sophisticated criminals out there. Don't think that because we live in South Africa that we don't have sophisticated criminals. They plan often in the high end, especially in the high end of the market, they would plan what they would want to acquire through criminal means. So they would target specific individuals, choose a car or choose a specific diamond collection or ring or whatever that they see on someone, and then go and attack those people. So keep your life private.
Now, last time you were here, you spoke about what's in our handbag, and I realized that many of my devices are set automatically to go home. My iPhone tells me
Yes.
how long I'm going to be in traffic before I reach home. Even a GPS has my home set stupidly as home. And so if my handbag were to go missing, all that information
Yes.
would be available to whoever has it.
That home address on your GPS, I mean, everyone does that. And that's something that's very easy to track. Especially now, imagine you have published that you're going away on a holiday for the next 2 weeks, and 2 nights before you go to dinner, your bag gets stolen. It's not, if you know, the person who stole your handbag in the first place is a criminal. If they want to take that step one step further, very, very easy. I think the other thing, just from a personal perspective, is this whole issue about putting photographs on social media, open social media pages, and I just want to quickly talk about that, but of your family, of your children. Just don't do it. You know, don't publish pictures of your child going to school for the first time on Twitter, for instance, because it's open for anyone to see. And my advice really isn't just from a personal perspective as a social media user. I'm an active user. I love social media. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The way it connects people, it gets us doing business, and it gets us building networks and relationships. So it's awesome. But for instance, my Facebook page is private. So no one can see my Facebook page because I do share family information. I do share things like I'm going away on holiday. But it's only with my own friends that I know. Then it's okay. But don't put it out on Instagram, on Twitter, where it's open for the world to see, because you might run into trouble.
What do you think would be a good place to start for perhaps a family who are sitting together watching this thinking, yikes, we need to set some guidelines when it comes to what we share?
Yeah.
So you've touched on it briefly. Perhaps your children don't share that in an open way. In terms of security, don't tell people if you're going away?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you are going to be going, especially going away, buying a new car, acquiring assets, don't put it out for, you know, just to tell the world how fabulous and amazing you are, because it could lead to something else. I think this conversation about having a conversation with your children is so important, because now we've become aware of problems. We know that you can be tracked. You're checking in at a restaurant, so they know you're not at home. But at home might be your daughter, 13 years old, going like, "Woo, mom's not at home tonight." It's possible to make those connections. So also to have that conversation with your children around the absolute threat of social media and how they can be targeted. You obviously saw that video that was out there of the child who thought she was meeting up with a new boy, 14 years old, and it was actually an experiment to see how easily girls are lured into this sort of thing. So make sure that you explain to your children that it's really dangerous out there, and not to disclose personal information. And also to make the information that you have on your social media pages, keep that to the minimum. Don't put your normal work email address up. Use some sort of that private account that you only use for certain things. so that it can't be tracked back to where you are, because if you use your work address, they can then again find, you know, where you work and maybe, you know, follow you home from the office and hijack you.